Germans are a strange bunch. Even supermarket cashiers have vocational training.
Welcome to YD. Why do Germans do things the way they do?
Some people find Germans a bit baffling, and I recently came across three things that might explain why that is. It has to do with responsibility. Let's start with a funny saying I like to post when someone writes that they've just obtained German citizenship. Along my congratulations, I like to add, but from now on, never cross on a red light again. It's a typical German thing that pedestrians wait at red lights even at night. Now, someone commented that they would check if there were any police around and then cross anyway. But we don't do that because a police officer might see us. We do it because a child might see us and takes that as an example. And then the child might not be careful and have an accident. Whether we have children of our own or not, we have a certain responsibility towards all children. Another point was raised in Lauren Angela's video when she spoke about her experience of studying in Germany. In Germany, if you want to study, you typically have either a Fachabitur or an Abitur, and you are usually of legal age. You enroll at the relevant university, you might need to meet a specific entry requirement, find a flat, a room in a shared flat, or perhaps get a room in a student hall of residence, and then you study. You often have to put together your own timetable and manage your own time. When are the lectures? When do you study? And perhaps when do you fit in a part-time job? On top of that, there are hobbies, friends, and socializing. And at the end of the semester, you sit the exam. And if you do not pass, you often have to retake the course. The whole thing isn't always easy for young German students either. Now you are responsible for yourself and your own progress. No more 4 tests per term and regular feedback in class, not even parents' evenings anymore. At university, you have to manage it all yourself. And the really crazy thing is that when it comes to the world of work, the only question is whether you have bachelor in business administration or a master's in chemistry. Your grades are still of some interest at the start, but Germans couldn't care less whether you studied on a face-to-face course or at a distance learning university, or whether you studied at the Sorbonne, Cambridge, or Aachen. Apart from language skills acquired abroad, nobody here cares whether it's a top-tier university or not. You need the degree certificate, and then you're expected to be able to do what's taught on such a course. That's also a problem when it comes to recognizing foreign non-European qualifications. You have to understand dual vocational training in the same way. No matter where in Germany, all roofers, chefs, wholesale and foreign trade clerks, electricians and farmers learn essentially the same basics. And then everyone takes a final exam before the relevant professional body and then, in the skilled trades for example, receives a journeyman's certificate. If you look at the role of a retail cashier or a retail assistant, the training involved covers much more than simply operating the till. It starts with product knowledge and product presentation and extends to legal obligations, hygiene and warranty, right through to pricing, stocking, ordering, and much more. This knowledge applies not only to a single business, but to the retail sector as a whole, with specializations where applicable. When a company hires a new employee with the relevant training, it can be confident that they possess the basic knowledge. It is also clear that the person is aware of their rights and obligations. Consequently, the employee can be held accountable for any misconduct, both by the employer and by the law. Certain tasks might only be carried out by qualified personnel. But conversely, it's also important for people to have vocational training. Anyone who perhaps due to poor academic performance, a lack of financial means, or simply a lack of interest is unwilling, unable to go to university should still have vocational training. Take, for example, someone who has a knack for animals or plants or who's very good with engines. However, theory is not their strong point. Why should we push this person to study only to end up with a poor degree? It's better to go into dual vocational training program after secondary school, Hauptschule or Realschule. I explained all German types of school in this video, and gain a good qualification as a gardener, veterinary assistant, or agriculture machinery mechanic, and start earning good money at the age of 19 in a field that suits them. And you can build on that training to get a master craftsman certificate, or perhaps to go on to do the vocational baccalaureate later and study after all. And of course, many Germans have had a go at wallpapering whilst doing up their homes. But when you see the result achieved by a trained painter and decorators, and how effortless they produce a perfect finish, you really appreciate the value of a proper apprenticeship. Of course, many people can cook and some have real talent, but cooking meals of consistent quality for hundreds of people day in, day out, that's something that needs to be learned. And in some profession, that's essential, particularly whenever the safety or health of customers is at stake, whether you're laying electrical cables, looking after children, or cutting hair. That's why it's important to apply for the job you've trained for. Simply having worked in a field for a long time without the basic training rarely gets you very far in Germany.
So many companies experience that they get applications from worldwide. And it seems to the companies that those people applying just want to come to Germany. They don't care so much about the company, about the city they would live in, or the Ausbildung they would do. So if you just send random applications, this has a failure rate of 100%, I would say.
And learn German, at least to B1 level, preferably higher, especially if the job involves customer contact.
So first one is language. Many people worldwide think that maybe A2 German is good enough or B1 German is good enough. This is just not true. One thing I can tell you, yes, maybe legally it's okay to come to Germany with B1, it's totally fine, but no company will hire you with B1 because if they talk to you in the interview, they want B2 level, right? So that's just, I mean, we made over 300 hires, we had 300 people to come to Germany.
Oh, look. Remarks, addition, and comments in the comments. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next video. I have also a whole playlist about education in Germany from kindergarten to Volkshochschule. Check it out.